Chantal, that's fine. Good morning, Joe. Okay, everyone. Good morning and welcome to the U.S. Jobs Report. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the Trading Director at 10-Minute Trades. And please remember, all trades we discuss are for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading futures, so trade carefully, please. Okay, good morning, everyone. So there's a couple of different things going on this morning. I'm not trading the gold open. I think that sometimes when the jobs report gets ready to take place, the open is muted, and I just need to concentrate on the jobs and talking about the setups. So I'm not trading gold, the gold open. So on the jobs report, if you look at the DMM, I think that we all know this report has been struggling. So I would trade conservatively this morning, trade carefully. It's if you look at the DMM, so you've got, and believe me, I've done a lot of testing. So what we're facing is a report that always gives you an opportunity to make money. That's why I always call it a family money trade. But there is risk, and the risk is higher because the report hasn't been behaving. Gold has been stopped 3 months in a row. The euro has not worked since we picked it as an index to trade. So I would not trade the euro. Okay. It just hasn't been working. And I've tested bonds. Bonds are struggling over the past couple of months, as is the ES breakout. Okay. Just be aware that the report has been struggling. So, there's a train of thought that makes you think, well, we're due for a good trade. And there's some truth to that. This is a report that over the course of years gives us many good trades. But today you want to trade with caution. That would be my recommendation, to just trade carefully. You can trade one contract if you decide to trade gold. If you trade two contracts, um, I would maybe shrink my first target to 10. And what I would consider doing is, if my first target were to be hit, right? Let's say you decide to trade gold and you use the 12 bracket, a target of 15, 10 or 15, a target of 30, and a stop of 20. Let's say you trade two contracts. If you trade two contracts, I would consider moving your stop using the target one stop move automatically to break even -5. Okay? Break even -4. Just move your stop to a position of safety. So if you hit your first target, if the price reverses, you have an opportunity to get out of this trade with a profit. So I would consider that if I were going to trade gold. There's another option, which is kind of interesting. If you wanted to trade one contract on gold, let's say there's a very big move. Let's say there's a very big move. So in order to participate in that big move, you can use the break-even profit and trigger ticks. So you could make your target, for instance, the second target, 30. Now, if there's a giant move, the break-even trigger moves your stop to break even if the market moves this many ticks. So if the market were to move, say, 20 ticks, it'll automatically move your stop to break even. And if you set the break even profit to 10, it'll move the stop to break even plus 10. And that way, if the market keeps going, or if the market moves more than 30, it'll hit your target if you use just one target of 30 ticks. So if the market moves, the break-even trigger moves your stop to break-even plus 20, and then the break-even profit ticks moves it additionally 10 more ticks. Okay, that's a little bit trickier. So, if you're trading two contracts, it's easier to just use the target one stop move and move your stop if your target gets hit. It's a little bit easier to deal with unless you've practiced the other method. Okay. Now I'm going to trade an ES range trade, which ironically is not on our setups, but because this has been so challenging, I have an alternative setup that has been testing, and I'm going to trade that today. Now, there are people that are trading Canada. Canada, when it trades with the US, jobs report usually has a very good move. Now, the one thing I would do today is, if there's no immediate moves, like within 5 seconds, I would probably cancel trades. Not if you trade the range trade with me, but if you get no breakout when the news is announced, that's not a normal reaction. So you may just want to cancel your trade. So you could keep that in mind. There's no shame in canceling a trade if things aren't working the way you expect. Okay? So if things don't work the way you expect, you don't have to trade. There's no shame, no harm in any way, shape, or form. Okay? Let me show you what I would do for Canada jobs. Bear with me. Okay, so the Canada job setup. I'd use a bracket of 10. The contract is 6C, 622. My stop would be 15. My entry time would be 8:30. And my targets would be 6 and 20. I would 8 and 25, somewhere in there. 6 and 20, 8 and 25. If you're trading three contracts, I might go 7, 16, and 27. So a stop of 15, a bracket of 10, and an entry time of 8:30. That's what I would consider with Canada. Now, so I have an ES range trade that I've been testing, and I'm going to trade that this morning. And if it's, if the movement is very strange, I'll cancel the trade also. There's, like I said, there's no embarrassment in canceling a trade. So the ES range trade has 5 ticks above the range, 5 ticks below the range. Give me a second. I'm going to turn on my recorder. It's 5 ticks above the range, 5 ticks below the range. Graphics gets shown on the chart for all range trades. One position for a 9 tick. I'm going to take an 8 tick profit. My second profit is 25 ticks. My stop is 20. And if my first target gets hit, I'm going to move my stop to break even -3 if my first target gets hit. And then the end of my range is 8:30.05. The beginning of my range is 8:29.55. 5 ticks above, 5 ticks below. Graphic shown on chart gets checked. One target for 8 ticks, one target for 25. A stop of 20. If my first target gets hit, it's going to move my stop to break even -3. The range ends at 8:30.05. It starts, the range start time is 8:29.55. And then the trade type, of course, is a range trade. I'm keeping the news off to the side. Okay, it's a lot of news. I want to watch the charts. So my range trade is set up. Okay, my range trade is set up. The first thing I want to do is let's check time sync. Let's check time sync. by going to the website time.is. That's how we check sync. Okay. So they're expecting about 300 and between 380 and 391,000 jobs. So say ballpark 4,000-ish, 4,000. So alternative setups, okay? So the gold setup, it's a bracket of 12, target of 15 and 30 with a stop of 20, okay? Now, unfortunately, gold hasn't been working on this report, but nothing's been working. So trade conservatively today. I would not recommend the euro because it's had no success since we've chosen it. So we don't have a good history with the euro. Bonds, if you trade bonds, I would use a bracket of 4. If you trade ZN, I would use a bracket of 4. And then the ES breakout, look, if we get a good breakout move, then the ES breakout's going to work well. The real issue is we just don't know what kind of move we're going to get today. That's what we don't know. Because of the war in Ukraine, there's been a lot of reports just not behaving the way we expect. So there's not a whole heck of a lot you can do when that happens. There's not a lot you can do. You just wait it out, trade the reports that are behaving. And it's unusual that the jobs report doesn't behave. It's pretty unusual. So going through this period is surprising. And if you look at January, December, and November, they were working. Okay. They were working. So the gold open is at 820. And I'm just thinking for a second what I'm going to do. I'm not trading the gold open because I want to watch full size gold. And we don't trade the opens with the full size instruments at this point in time. But I'm going to put my strategy on just so I have it on the chart. So I'm just loading my gold open template. It's possible maybe I'll want to use it after the jobs report. So my gold open template, but I'm not going to trade it on full size. I'm just going to watch on full size for now. So I'll change my chart if I'm going to trade it. And I'm just looking at the setup. The setup we normally use is one tick above the range, one tick below, one click, a one bar look back. Targets of 8 and 20, a stop of 22. If it hits my first target, I move to break even -4. Like I said, not trading the gold open this morning, just watching. Just watching. My anticipation, and I could be wrong, is for a muted open because I think the gold market is going to wait for the jobs report. That's what I think. Okay. That's what I think. Now gold is up. It's been up overnight, since overnight. It's been, if I had to rate, looking at a 5 minute chart, it has not been that volatile since 4 in the morning. And then it made some new highs and it's been consolidating since about 5:30 in the morning. It's the markets very often wait for the jobs report. They like to wait for the jobs report.
Good morning, Lee.
Hey, what's doing?
Hey guys, Eric here. I usually don't like to come on until after the trade, but I just want to say lots of success to everybody, and also let everyone know that I'm behind the scenes. I'm trading the DMM to the T, and I'm trading gold. And after this gold open, Lee, if you want to talk a little bit more about that setup, we can. But just want to check in with everyone and wish everyone well.
Okay. All right. So I'm not even, to be honest, folks, I'm not really discussing the gold open at all or the setup because I'm not trading it. So I don't want to get people confused this morning. Concentrate on your jobs report. There are people that'll probably trade the open, and we do it a lot of mornings in the room, and we use a certain method in our software to trade the gold open, the oil open, and the NQ open. So members will be sticking around and we'll definitely look at the oil open this morning and the NQ open after the jobs report. Our software, it puts a range on the charts, but we have a way of entering the market immediately without using the range, and most people enter the opens that way. But you can also have the market come to you by clicking a special button called the long range button. But like I said, I'm just watching gold's behavior this morning just to see how it behaves at the open. It really doesn't affect the jobs report. How it opens doesn't really have any meaning in relation to the way it's going to move on the jobs report. So one more time, I'm trading an ES. Well, you know what? Let's watch for a minute because, well, this is theoretically the gold open. So you just watch, I'm just looking at the behavior, trying to gauge how big the move is. And you could see that there was somewhat of an up move, somewhat of an up move. There is a tendency for indexes when they get close to a high of day or low of day, they often test that range, that level. This is an interesting magnet. I call it a magnet. PP is a strong area of resistance, as is the high of day. Both are areas of resistance, but they're areas of pull because they're very strong levels. We also use the tick strike indicator to help us gauge direction on the gold open. And there have been a couple of signals to the long side for the gold open this morning. My goal this morning is actually just to concentrate on the jobs report, but there have been some signals possibly for the gold open. Anybody out there trading the gold open this morning? Chantal, you passed. Just curious, tell everybody why you passed. Jobs report? Jobs. Yeah. It's interesting. It looks like it would have worked this morning, but you can't, you have a set of rules. See how it finds that magnet trade, finds that level, finds that level. And it's one of the issues why gold's been difficult to trade on news reports. Gold's been, since the war in Ukraine, it definitely has affected the way that gold's been trading. So one more time, I'll go over my range trade on the ES. 5 ticks above the range, 5 ticks below. The graphic shown on chart always gets checked. And I'm just trading two contracts, one for 8 ticks, one for 25. My stop is 20. If my target gets hit, I move my stop to break even -3. But the key is the range starts at 8:29 and 55 seconds, and it ends at 5 seconds after 8:30, 8:30:05. So essentially, I have a 10-second range that starts before the market opens. And like I said, I'm not trading gold. I have my setup on there, but I was watching it. Now, that's interesting. It would have worked this morning. It certainly looked like it would have. So we have 5 minutes. Again, if there's no abnormal, strange behavior. So what might be abnormal, strange behavior? No reaction to the job numbers. This is a report that it does not normally have a delayed reaction. Okay. So if you're trading a breakout, ES breakout or gold breakout, you might consider canceling a trade if there's no reaction. And what makes it a little bit challenging is in this world of the war and the pandemic, news results have been somewhat delayed also. So it makes it a little bit even more challenging. News results are sometimes delayed. So you have to weigh that with whether you should cancel or not. This is such a strong report that if there's no response, that would be an abnormal response. Now, I want to thank everybody on YouTube. There's a ton of people. Why not hit the like button as a way of saying thanks for us bringing this free content to you about trading the jobs report? Hit the like button, sign up for the channel. We'd love if you do that. Now, the idea of a range trade is we're looking for a movement in one direction after the main shock of the numbers. Now, honestly, if Eric wasn't back there trading gold, I would have traded gold with one contract this morning. But since he's trading gold, I'm going to just trade the ES this morning. So the ES, remember, my range will start to draw 5 seconds before the news comes out. I'll change my charts. probably to micro gold after the news, because maybe there'll be an opportunity to trade after the news. It's possible. We'll see. So gold, I call that a magnet trade. The magnet trade worked before the jobs report. That high of the day pulled a bullish gold. Gold was bullish. It was up over $7 when we got into the room, and it pulled the price into the high of the day. Very common behavior. We see it on oil, on gold, on the indexes. It's very common behavior. So you could see the ES, very, very volatile behavior. This is, these are not normal times. Now, that behavior doesn't affect my range because my range isn't being created yet. Okay. You can see why gold is challenging. Again, if you feel that a market is not safe to trade, you don't have to trade it. Don't forget. Normally, we do see a calming down right before the report. Often, not always. There's no always. Okay. There's never an always. Okay. 5 seconds till the report. See, my range is starting to draw. So my range trade worked beautifully. It worked beautifully. I didn't have time to move my targets out of to make my target bigger. It worked so fast, I couldn't move my target. My charts are on micro gold. My ES trade is over. I could have used a
Gold
bigger
worked too.
target.
Gold worked too, Lee. Gold was a winner.
Okay. Okay, so let me hear, Eric, let me hear from you first. What happened?
Well, I'm gonna send you my recording, and then I do have to take my daughter to work.
Perfect.
Here's
Send
what
me the
happened.
recording and I'll analyze it with the
Yeah,
room.
all right, I'll just say very quickly. Basically it hovered. It went into a profit, then it kind of came back to break even. I moved my break even up, and I was actually ready to get out with a little loss break even, and it popped up. So I
Okay.
got both my targets filled. All right.
Beautiful. Great. Great. Okay. Um, can I get a roll call? What happened to everybody trading in the room? So my roll call, I made $412 trading conservatively because I was a little bit concerned about the markets. Okay. So how about everybody else? Fred trading micros made $36. That's like a $300 full size trade. Okay. Trading micros is like a $300 full size trade. Chantal, Joe, the Canadian report worked beautifully for you. Let's take a look at Canada. Joe, did you use my settings or did you use your own settings? I want credit if you used my settings. So Joe made $115 on Canada, the Canada jobs report. And I'm assuming you got the long, obviously. It burst up. It burst up. Okay, you used a little bit smaller bracket, which is good. Good thinking. That's fine. So either way, looks like it would have worked. I was going with a 10 bracket. Joe went with an 8. So that's a good Canada trade. Okay. Anybody? So Joe made 115 on Canada. Chantal had a positive trade on the MES. Chantal, what method did you trade? Just curious how you traded. What did you do exactly? Wally, what method did you trade? What method did you trade? Okay, so Chantal, you just did a pullback trade. Chantal loves to trade reversals of a move. It's absolutely the way that I do not like to trade, but everybody's different. And that's one of the beauties. Oh, no, no. What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm wrong. So explain what you mean. Explain what you mean. I'm sorry. Explain what you mean. I'm going to get the gold trade also so I can show you Eric's gold trade. So I understand that not a lot of people traded. Not a lot of people traded. I did not mean to scare you. Okay. I did not mean to scare you out of trading. Okay. You got in on a continuation on the pullback. So Chantal used the tick strike indicator to help her get into an ES long. Okay. I traded our range trade, and I'll be adding that, hopefully adding that to the DMM for next month. Did anybody trade any of the other breakouts? Did anybody trade any of the other breakouts? So before I go over Eric's gold trade, let me just, there's a lot of people watching on YouTube. You know, if you would like to learn how to do what we do, I'd like to make you a very quick offer. You can join our trade room, www.jointhetraderoom.com. If you're watching on YouTube, the news won't be delayed and you can learn how to do what we do. So thank you very much for watching. www.jointhetraderoom.com. That's for anybody that's not a member. Anyone who's not a member.